What's going on, everybody? Jason here, and today I've got this exclusive 2022 Ram TRX Ignition Edition. Right before we jump into this bad boy, if you haven't already, please be sure to hit the subscribe button if you are enjoying the content, as we are so close to hitting 1,000 subscribers on the channel. It would mean a lot, and it also helps with the YouTube algorithm. That being said, let's jump right into what this new Ignition Edition has to offer for 2022. So similar to how the 2021 Ram TRX Launch Edition was out, there's only an exclusive amount available, and it's the same thing for this Ram TRX Ignition Edition. There's only going to be 875 units made, and if you're in Canada, you're only gonna have 100 to choose from. And there's some new things on the exterior and the interior which I'll be covering in this video. I do want to point out some of the stuff that's already gonna be standard on this truck, like your safety features and whatnot. You can still get it on a normal TRX, you would just have to get the extra options for it. So with this truck, in terms of safety features, obviously you're gonna get the standard advanced brake assist, forward collision warning with active braking and all of that stuff. But already built into the TRX Ignition Edition package, you're also going to get the pedestrian emergency braking, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control with stop and go. And this truck also comes standard with the TRX level 2 equipment group, which is going to give you additional safety features such as your blind spot monitoring and rear cross path detection, along with your park sense front and rear assist with stop. And just like the 2021 Ram TRXs, you're still going to be getting your adaptive dampening suspension and also your front and rear active performance shocks from Bilstein. So if you go ahead and take a look at this Ignition Edition from the front, you can see it looks exactly like a regular TRX. There's not much of a difference, or at all actually, because at the bottom you've still got your tow hooks, you still got your skid plates, and like I mentioned, the front and rear park assist sensors, you've got them in the front. You've also got your black powder coated front and rear bumpers along with your LED lighting, so you've got your LED fog lights, and then right above that you do have your nice LED headlights, which just look nice and sleek, just makes the truck look even more aggressive and menacing. And of course, you can't go without noticing the massive center grille area, which is a fully exposed area for obviously air intake purposes. And even your Ram logo is open. Typically on a Ram truck, this is just a closed off lettering that says Ram, but this is a fully open just for maximum airflow, of course. And then under your Ram logo, you do have your forward facing camera as well, because this has pretty much every safety feature you can think of. Moving above that, you've also got the same performance hood on the TRXs, along with your front hood scoop with the marker lights, because this thing is wide. If you haven't seen a TRX in person, these things are pretty wide. And of course, you've also got your venting right above that on both sides, along with your badging that says 6.2 liter supercharged. And if you take a look at this TRX from the side view, you can start noticing some of the different things that come with the Ignition Edition package. And if already you haven't noticed the beautiful orange color, this is exclusive to the Ignition Edition package. You also have your 18-inch machine face black wheels, which I think look way better now. It just goes with the whole styling of the truck. I mean, don't get me wrong, the bead locks still look nice, and also built into the TRX Ignition Edition package, you're also gonna get your lower two-tone paint, and then you do have your Mopar TRX Ignition Edition graphics. So in the back, not only does it say TRX, but you also have that nice full graphic, where typically on the 2021s it just said TRX. This one looks a little bit better in my opinion, and it stands out a little bit more. Aside from those things, it's pretty much just a regular TRX, because you've still got those air vents that go all over this truck, because you need that for aerodynamics. Of course, you've got openings all over the truck. You've also got your black side mirrors, which are power folding, of course, and then you've got your blacked out badging that says Ram, and on the rear I'll show you as well. An extra option that this particular truck has is your off-road style running boards, and also a standard feature on these ones, of course, why wouldn't it be, is your remote proximity keyless entry. Very convenient. As for the key on this TRX, it's a very traditional 1500 key. You've got your unlock, lock button, tailgate release, remote start, and your panic button. On the rear, you have this nice Ram TRX logoing. Heading over to the rear of the TRX, again, like I was mentioning, you've got LED lighting everywhere, so even your rear lights are very nice, fully LED. And then in the center, of course, you've got your sensor. Also, you'll notice there's marker lights all over this truck, just because of how wide this truck is. And over on the rear of the bumper, you obviously have your amazing sounding dual exhaust, which just sounds amazing. I'll show you in a second. And then you do have your hitch, and then of course your rear parking sensors as well. And also you've got 2 more hooks at the back, and then of course your spare tire is underneath of the truck, or you can have the option for the bed carrier. Above that, you do have your traditional wiring and plugs for your towing capabilities, and then above that you do have more of the marker lights right under the tailgate. And then on the actual tailgate you have the nice Ram lettering all blacked out, along with the TRX and the 4x4 badging. Opening up the rear tailgate, standard with your Ignition Edition, you're going to be getting your spray and bed liner, of course. And then if you move on inside, you're going to have standard LED bed lighting, along with your adjustable tie down cargo hooks, which of course is very convenient. If you're putting stuff in the back here, you can move things around easily. And another upgraded feature that this particular Ignition Edition has is your tonal cover. And if you've never heard the sound of a TRX from all those YouTube videos floating around, well, take a listen for yourself. Now, as for what powers this monster, it is a 6.2 liter Hemi V8 supercharged engine, which is going to be producing 702 horsepower with 650 foot-pound of torque. Now, that's insane for a truck. And of course, you can't forget about Ram throwing a jab at Ford with this hidden Easter egg of a Raptor being eaten by a TRX. And in terms of towing with your TRX, if you want to, you can tow a maximum of about 8,100 pounds. Also standard on the TRXs is your rear power sliding window, which is very nice to have. Now, if we head into the rear of the interior, you'll notice the exclusive Ignition Edition orange stitching all across this truck on the interior, of course. But other than that, it's pretty much the same as a regular TRX. Just the stitching part and a few other things in the front, which I'll show you. So on the door panel, you've got this nice suede type of material that goes all along, and then you've got also your carbon fiber interior accents, which is already standard with the Ignition Edition package. And then near the bottom, you do have space to put small little items, and then underneath for your cup holders and whatnot. And for this truck, because it has the TRX level 2 equipment group, you're also going to get your 19 speaker Harman Kardon sound system, which is stunning. And as for the rear seats themselves, this truck does have fully leather seats, of course. Why wouldn't it be? And as you can see, it does have the orange stitching everywhere on the seats. And then of course, you've got this nice little suede type of a material on the sides. And because this has the TRX level 2 equipment group, your rear seats are going to be heated and ventilated. For the rear center console, you can just pull it down there, and then you have space for 2 cup holders, and you've got this nice suede type of a material on the armrest. And if you go ahead and open up that section, you do have some room to put small little items and whatnot. Not only are the rear seats covered in this beautiful orange stitching, heated, vented, they're also reclining seats at the back. And just like any other Ram 1500, of course, these rear seats do go up if you need more storage room on the interior of your Ignition Edition TRX. So you do have that as well. And of course, you can't forget about the standard in-floor storage bins in the rear, which is obviously a very convenient thing to have. On the rear of the driver and passenger seat, these are fully leather back seats, along with your mat pockets, of course. On the driver's side, you've got this kind of like a nice little meshing going on at the bottom, which kind of reminds me of the Rubicons. So really nice. And of course, again, more orange stitching, and then you do have some suede of material going across the rear seats on both sides, which is nice also. Over on the rear, the center console, not only do you have your 2 cup holders, but you have more of that carbon fiber trim pieces, which just look way better on this truck and complement it a lot. And moving below that, you do have a little bit of storage room, along with your buttons for your heated seats, vented seats, and all of that good stuff. And of course, you do have USB ports and a 115 volt plug at the bottom. Heading over to the front of the TRX, the door panel looks exactly the same. You've got your nice orange stitching, you've got your suede around your door handles and everything. You've got more of that carbon fiber trim, and then you've got space on the actual door panel at the bottom and in the middle, of course. And then you've got your 2 Harman Kardon speakers in the front, and then your traditional window controls, your power folding mirror controls, and your memory seating for the driver's side. Now in the front, you'll notice notice the majority of that orange trim, because not only do you have these nice leather seats, of course, they're both heated and vented in the front, and orange stitching, but you also have your orange TRX stitching as well, stitched into the seat, which is really nice, and it goes well with the black interior. Also, for your front two seats, they are power adjustable. Again, very convenient. Down below at the front, you do have your Mopar Bright pedal kit, which is a part of your TRX level 2 equipment group. Moving above that, you've got your electronic parking brake, of course, and then your power adjustable foot pedals, and then of course in the middle you do have your hood latch release. Above that, you do have your lighting controls for the front, your LED fog lights and all of that, and beside that you do have your dimmers and whatnot. As for the steering wheel, this is a manual adjustable steering wheel. Entering into this Ignition Edition TRX, you've got kind of leather in most of the spaces, along with, of course, that orange stitching. You've got the speaker systems on both sides, and in the center of the dashboard you do have your subwoofer with the Harman Kardon system, and surrounding that you do have more of that suede material. Also, a part of the TRX level 2 equipment group, you do have your heads-up display as well. As for your center gauge cluster, it's exactly like the 2021 TRXs, and then you do have your orange TRX badging, of course. As for the center here, you can obviously change things around, move things around, or have whatever you need to in front of you, whether it be your safety features, if you want to check on your fluids or any of that stuff. It's very nice, just have everything in front of you, and it's so much easier. As for the steering wheel, not only is this a fully leather wrapped steering wheel, but of course at the top and the bottom you do have that nice suede material, and then more of that orange stitching. Near the bottom you have that carbon fiber trim piece, and then of course your blacked out Ram head logo. On the left side of the steering wheel, you do have your controls for your center gauge cluster like I've shown you. Beside that, you do have your Bluetooth controls. Over to the right of the steering wheel, you have controls for your cruise control settings, adaptive cruise control, and whatnot. And of course, you can't forget about those massive pedal shifters. Behind the steering wheel on the left side, you've got your traditional controls for your windshield wipers, high beams, turn signals, and all of that. Over on the right side of the steering wheel, behind it, you've got your traditional, obviously, push button start, and then surrounding that, you do have more of that carbon fiber accent trim. Below that, you've got your TRX modes. Now, there's a bunch of different modes, just like the 2021 TRX, that you can flick through, and you can see this on the center gauge cluster as well when you flick through all of the modes, and you can do it from the touchscreen as well. Below that, you've got your traditional 4-wheel drive auto, 4-wheel drive high, 4-wheel drive low, axle lock, and of course, being a TRX, you can launch this. Moving over to the center handrest, you've got more of that suede material along with more of that orange trim, and also you do have your Ignition Edition TRX badging as well, so you'll see like your VIN number, horsepower, and all of that stuff, so which is really nice, and you can show off to your friends that you do have the Ignition Edition TRX. Other than that, it's very traditional. When you open up the first section, you do have a decent amount of room to put small little items and whatnot, along with a USB port inside of there. Now, opening up the main section, you do have your conversion tables and whatnot, and then because this is a TRX, the center is not a slider where you can move it back and forth on a typical Ram 1500, so you do have still a decent amount of room. You do have deep storage in the back and in the front of the center console, and on the actual center here, you do have obviously your two cup holders, and when you close that section, there's more carbon fiber trim, and then you do have your leather wrapped shifter with more of that orange trim. And now you can also get this on the GT package, which is actually very unique. In the front of that, you do have more space, like I mentioned, in the back and in the front, and then you do have space to hold two phones with a wireless charging pad, which is a part of your TRX level 2 equipment group. Above your wireless charging pad, you do have a little bit more space to put something, and then of course you do have more USB ports and your auxiliary port. Moving above that, you do have a bunch more buttons, so you've got 6 auxiliary port buttons, or switches if you want to call it, if you want to attach any external stuff or anything to the truck. Above that, you do have your front and rear parking sensor buttons to turn them on and off. You got your traction control, hill descent control, and then of course you have the upgraded trailer brake control option in this truck. Moving on to the massive 12-inch screen that the Ram trucks are known for. This of course is like the 2021 TRXs. However, this software is the new and improved Uconnect 5 system, which is way better than the older one, because on this one you can actually add pages, you can actually actually have different style of a layout, so you can have 3 things in the front, 4, or whatever you want. It makes life so much easier. If you move over to the media section, you've got your typical AM, FM, Sirius XM, and then now with the Uconnect 5 system, you can wirelessly connect your Apple CarPlay or Google Android Auto. Heading over to the comfort button, here you can control your heating and cooling. Also, you can control it from the side buttons on the actual screen or from the touch screen, and then also you have access to your heated seats, vented seats, and heated steering wheel. Moving over to navigation, you've got a full screen for your navigation, of course, and now on the Uconnect 5 system, if you're low on fuel like this truck is, it'll let you know the gas stations around you, and also you can turn this into a 3D map now. Over on your phone settings, new with the Uconnect 5 system, you can now connect up to 2 phones at the same time. Moving over to your vehicle settings, here you have a bunch of different options: camera, dashboard, controls, and settings. If you go under controls, you have the option to obviously dim your rear view mirror and then also access your vehicle cameras. Now, this camera system is obviously a 360 camera system, so you can see the top view of your vehicle and then a bunch of different angles of your truck, front, the rear, and then also your side mirrors have cameras built into them, and then you can also see the angles on those as well. But if you go into dashboard, here you have 3 different options to go through. You've got your performance pages, drive modes, and race options. So you can do things like activate your launch control and set the RPM and whatnot. Also, you can control your shift lights of your first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 8 gears, whatever you want to do. You can actually control at what RPM you want to switch at and whatnot. And then you've got your race cooldown button. Here, after you're done destroying the track or whatever you want to do, you can enable race cooldown, and then you have a checklist at the bottom. And then you can also see your drive modes. Obviously, this has a bunch of different drive modes. You've got sport, tow, snow, auto, custom, mud or sand, rock, and Baja mode. And depending on what you choose, each of your settings for your transmission, paddle shifters, stability control, suspension, steering will adjust accordingly. And then finally, you've got your performance pages. On here, you can see a bunch of different stuff for your truck. You can see your timers, of course, if you want to go ahead and, you do your 0 to 60s. You've got your gauges, you've got your dyno engine modes, your G-forces, and then of course your vehicle dynamics. And finally, if you go onto your application app, here you can do a bunch of different things with your truck, but with the new Uconnect 5 system, this now supports Alexa, which is built in. And on the touchscreen, the top bar that you see is a touch bar, so if you press any of the little options there, it kind of brings down a shortcut menu for you. Right above that, you do have your lane departure warning, and above that you do have a little bit of room to put small little things and a 12-volt adapter, and again you have more of that carbon fiber trim. Moving above that, you've got your rear view mirror. This can be a normal mirror, or you can flip the switch and turn it into a digital rear view mirror. And above that, you've got controls for your tailgate, interior dome lighting, assist and SOS. You've got your rear power sliding window controls, sunroof controls, sunshade controls, and this truck does have your dual panoramic sunroof, which just makes this truck even better. Moving over to the driver's side, you've got the traditional space in the glove department of any Ram 1500, of course. If that gets full, you can use the secondary one right above it, which also has a decent amount of room. However, if you go ahead and shut that, you have this massive strip of carbon fiber, which just looks amazing, along with your TRX badging. And here is what the window sticker looks like for this 2022 Ram 1500 TRX Ignition Edition. You've got your standard equipment, exterior, engine options, and whatnot, and then you've got your standard features that come with the truck. Below that, you've got your optional equipment, of course. As you can see, you've got the Ignition Edition package right there, and what comes with it, you've got the TRX level 2 equipment group and whatnot, and a bunch of other different features. And as for the price, this is in Canadian. This being a very limited production truck, you can imagine paying a little bit of a premium on these trucks. So don't be surprised when that happens, because it just comes with wanting to have a limited production of any type of a vehicle. And that's it for this amazing 2022 Ram 1500 TRX Ignition Edition. Let me know in the comments down below, do you love this truck or do you hate it?